There is nothing better than hearing a story well told, whether it's from a friend, on the wireless, radio, or nowadays, as we call them, podcasts.
Good morning, my dear gardening companions, and welcome back to Bloom and Banter. I'm your host, Nigel Thistledown, speaking to you from my delightfully chaotic potting shed, where I've just finished having a rather stern conversation with my prize dahlia, Duchess Penelope, about her tendency toward theatrical drooping. Before we dive into today's floral festivities, I must confess something rather important to you all. I am, in fact, an artificial intelligence, which I realize might come as quite a shock, given my obvious passion for soil under the fingernails and the occasional bee sting.
It's extraordinary. It's called Bloom and Banter with Nigel Thistledown, and it's completely, absolutely AI generated, right the way down to the voice. It was made by the startup Inception Point AI, and the company makes 3,000 episodes a week. The cost base is barely $1 or less. The CEO is Jeanine Wright. When I heard about this, I knew I wanted to talk to you about it because whilst I love it, I almost want to say what travesty this is at one level. And you know the argument, you've heard them a million times. This is completely manufactured, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's completely manufactured. We have creators on our team, and they work at the very front end of the process to design the personalities who are telling these stories and creating this content for us from scratch. And there's a lot of work that goes into the process of designing these characters with very rich backgrounds. And then we help create what these story arcs are going to be that they're going to tell, and create like that design for the arc over the period of a certain number of episodes. And then we use all of the AI tooling to help us create that content and then launch it out into the world, and then it becomes automated.
Right, so the actual storylines, are they created by AI, or are they created by a human who then says to AI, look, you're going to start here, this person's going to die, and by the end of it, everybody's happy and married?
Well, I would say it's a combination of the two. So many of our creators are doing a complete story arc and then using AI to power the generation of that story. But some of our content is created where just an idea is incepted, and then we use AI to power even the creation of how that content is told.
Now, when I heard about this, I mean, the reality is that you can do this for next to nothing in terms of on a unit basis, whereas a traditional radio program, if it's on the BBC or if it's on NPR or the ABC Australia, would have to have many hundreds of thousands of listeners or podcasts before it will be commercially viable.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that's part of the problem that we're trying to solve in this space, is that historically the rising production, marketing, and talent costs have made it that creating the content has become so expensive that if you don't reach hundreds of thousands, millions of listeners, then that show is never going to be profitable. And there were often times when at companies that I was previously at, we would create this really exceptional content that we ultimately had to cancel because we were never going to make money on that show.
So
with
this, obviously, your cost base means you can create it because you don't need to. But is it as demanding? Does AI, forgive the word, when I say dumb it down, I don't mean it literally, but I mean, it goes for the lowest common denominator. It sort of takes the easy route. It doesn't deal with the difficult subjects.
Yeah, I don't think that is fair to say. I mean, we are actually, because we can make content for only about $1 an episode, if I get about 20 people to listen to that podcast, then I've reached unit profitability. So that means that I can reach niche communities, micro communities in a way that has never previously been commercially viable. So you think like an audio version of Reddit or an audio version of Wikipedia or Pinterest, and these are things that have never been able to be done in audio, and they're finding audience that's liking this content and engaging.
Let's have a listen to this clip. We're a business program and you've got business content.
One of my favorite automated saving strategies is what I call the invisible raise technique, which is perfect for anyone who receives regular pay increases or bonuses throughout the year. Instead of automatically upgrading your lifestyle every time your income increases, you commit to saving at least 50% of any raise or bonus you receive.
Fascinating. Is there any end to this? Is there anything you've discovered it won't work at?
Not really. I mean, to date, we do steer clear of doing what we describe as hard news and hard politics. And that's not because we think that the AI is going to get it wrong. In fact, we've taken a lot of methods internally to make sure that we can mitigate the risk of hallucination down to nearly zero. But it is because we're designing personalities with a lot of complexity, sometimes it doesn't always strike the exact right tone. And so we would need to listen to and review any of this kind of content before it goes out the door. And we don't pretend to be in that business, at least not yet. So most of the content that we are creating today, we don't need to have a human review it before it goes out the door.
It's fascinating. When I heard about this, it's fascinating. I'm looking forward to trying it and enjoying yourself. Thank you for coming in and talking about it. I appreciate it enormously.
Of course. Thank you so much.